Your legs are your engine. Lose them, and nothing else matters. Not your rifle, not your stockpile, not your carefully packed bug-out bag. None of it. Trench foot doesn't care about any of that. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't give you a warning shot. 3 days of wet socks. Just 3. And the tissue in your feet begins to break down. Not metaphorically, literally. The skin softens, separates, and starts dying from the outside in. You go from mobile to immobile, from survivor to liability, from someone who walks out of this to someone who doesn't. This is not a comfort problem. This is a combat-ending, life-ending threat, and almost nobody takes it seriously until it's already too late. Here's what's actually happening inside that wet boot. Your skin is a barrier, the most underrated piece of protective equipment you own. It keeps pathogens out, regulates temperature, holds everything together, but sustained moisture destroys that barrier at the cellular level. The process is called maceration. The keratin, the structural protein that makes skin tough, absorbs water, swells, and loses its integrity. The outer layer breaks down, cracks form. Microscopic tears open pathways straight into deeper tissue. Blood vessels in the extremities constrict to protect your core. Circulation to the feet drops. The tissue is already compromised, and now it's getting less oxygen, less immune response, less of everything it needs to fight back. Cells begin to die, not dramatically, quietly, incrementally. The danger zone starts at around 60 degrees Fahrenheit and drops from there. You don't need freezing temperatures. You just need wet, cool, and time. 12 hours of serious exposure starts the clock. 48 hours in, you've got a real problem. 72 hours, and you may be looking at permanent nerve damage or tissue loss that no field kit on Earth is going to reverse. That's the biology. Your foot is rotting. Slowly, silently, and completely preventably. This is the system. Memorize it. Run it without exception. 3 pairs of socks. Always 3. 1 pair is on your feet right now. 1 pair is clipped to the outside of your pack, drying in whatever air movement exists. 1 pair is tucked against your body, under your shirt, pressed against your skin, warming up and staying dry from your own heat. Every time you stop for longer than 10 minutes, you rotate. The wet pair comes off. The body-warmed pair goes on. The previously drying pair moves to your body. The pair you just pulled off gets clipped outside. That's the cycle. It is obsessive. That's exactly the point. Wool is your first choice. Merino wool specifically. It retains insulating properties even when wet. It resists bacterial growth, and it manages moisture better than any synthetic alternative. Cotton is a death sentence in this context. Cotton absorbs water and holds it directly against your skin with 0 insulating value. If your socks are cotton, throw them out now. They are not gear. They are a liability. The rotation doesn't pause because you're tired. It doesn't pause because the weather is bad. It doesn't pause because you forgot. The moment you start making exceptions is the moment the rot starts winning. 3 pairs, constant rotation, no compromise.
Every stop is an inspection. No exceptions. 10 minutes of rest means boots off, not loosened, off. Pull the socks, expose the skin, and look. Run your fingers along the sole, between the toes, around the heel. You are looking for 3 things: color change, texture change, and sensation change. Pale or grayish patches mean circulation is already compromised. Skin that feels soft, wrinkled, or separating means maceration is underway. Numbness or that deep, aching throb means the nerves are already under stress. If the skin is wet, dry it. Not with a dirty rag, with clean fabric. Pat, don't rub. Rubbing tears compromised skin apart. Pat it dry, then let air hit it for as long as your situation allows. 2 minutes of open-air exposure does more than most people realize. If you have any kind of foot powder, talc, baking soda, even dry dirt in a pinch, apply it lightly. It absorbs residual moisture and buys you time. Massage matters too. 30 seconds of firm pressure along the arch and heel restores circulation to tissue that's been compressed inside a boot for hours. It's not comfort, it's maintenance. You maintain your weapon, you maintain your shelter. Your feet keep you mobile. Treat them like the critical equipment they are. Your boots are soaked through, and you have nothing to replace them. Here's what you do. The Trash-Bag Gaiter is your first option. Take a heavy-duty garbage bag, not the thin kitchen kind, the thick, contractor-grade kind. Cut it to size, slip it over your sock before the boot goes on. Fold the excess down over the ankle, then tape it in place with duct tape wrapped around the outside of the boot at the ankle. What you've created is a vapor barrier. Water cannot penetrate from the outside. Yes, your foot will sweat inside. That internal moisture is manageable. External water flooding a compromised boot is not. Choose the lesser problem. The Tire-Tread Sandal is your second option when boots are completely destroyed. Cut a section of rubber from a bicycle or car tire. Trace your foot, leave 2 inches of margin on all sides. Punch holes along the edges with a knife tip or nail. Thread paracord or strips of fabric through the holes and lace them up your ankle and lower leg like a Roman sandal. Crude, functional, keeps your sole off wet ground and provides a base you can wrap for insulation. For either improvisation, the critical rule is this: never seal moisture in without a plan to release it. At every stop, remove the improvised protection, dry the foot, inspect the skin, then reapply. An improvised barrier that traps rot against your skin for 12 hours straight is worse than no barrier at all. The goal is to control the environment inside that boot, not just block the outside world from getting in. Now you know what to prevent, but what if you're already past that point? What if the skin is already changing? What if the damage is already running? There's a window. It's narrow. It's closing. And whether you make it through depends entirely on how fast you recognize what you're looking at and how fast you move.
White skin means you're in the early stage. That's salvageable. Here's the protocol. First, get the foot dry and get it warm. Not hot, warm. Submerging damaged tissue in hot water causes thermal shock to already compromised cells and accelerates the breakdown. You want body temperature warmth. Press the foot against your own abdomen, your armpit, another person's skin. Direct contact with a living heat source is the most effective field rewarming method available without equipment. Hold it there. Don't rush it. 30 minutes minimum. Do not rub the affected area. Do not massage it. Do not walk on it any more than absolutely necessary. Compromised tissue under mechanical stress breaks down faster. Every unnecessary step is damage you're choosing to inflict on yourself. Once sensation begins returning, and it will burn, that burning is actually a good sign. It means circulation is coming back. Keep the foot elevated when resting, above heart level if possible. This reduces fluid accumulation in the tissue and gives the vascular system a mechanical advantage in pushing blood back through. If you have any antiseptic, apply it lightly to any cracked or open skin. Broken, macerated tissue is an open invitation to infection, and infection in the field without antibiotics is a death sentence delivered slowly. The moment the foot can bear weight without the skin cracking further, resume rotation protocol immediately. Prevention and treatment are the same system. You never stopped needing it. Here's why people die from this when they don't have to. Because when everything is falling apart, socks don't feel urgent. Ammunition feels urgent. Food feels urgent. Shelter feels urgent. A dry pair of socks feels like a luxury, like something you think about after the real problems are solved. That instinct is wrong. It is specifically, demonstrably, fatally wrong. Military records from both world wars document hundreds of thousands of soldiers rendered combat ineffective, not from enemy fire, but from trench foot. Units lost more operational capacity to wet boots than to entire engagements. Command eventually figured out what the soldiers on the ground hadn't internalized. A fighter who cannot walk is not a fighter. He's a burden. He's a stationary target. He's already lost. Reframe it. Mobility is your primary offensive and defensive capability. Everything else, your weapon, your food, your intelligence, is only useful if you can move. Dry feet are not a comfort priority. They are a mobility priority, and mobility is survival. Pack the socks before you pack the extra rounds. Rotate before you eat. Inspect before you sleep. The fighter who keeps moving outlasts everyone who doesn't, every time. No exceptions. 3 pairs. Constant rotation. Inspect at every stop. Improvise when you have to. Treat the moment you see white. That's the entire system. It costs almost nothing, it weighs almost nothing, and it is the difference between walking out of this and being carried out, or not coming out at all. The soldiers who survived the trenches didn't just outfight the enemy, they outmaintained them. They understood that a body is a machine, and machines that aren't maintained fail at the worst possible moment. Your feet carry everything. Protect them like your life depends on it, because it does.